Hello, all you freedom-loving people. Trump is going after the Des Moines Register for election interference, and he plans to lower prescription drug costs by taking out the middleman. Okay, let's get into it. President Trump has filed a lawsuit against Iowa's the Des Moines Register and its top pollster. President Trump alleges that the agency's last poll that was conducted on the days before the November 5th presidential election falsely claimed that Kamala Harris was leading President Trump in Iowa. This is a prediction that was proven wildly inaccurate when President Trump secured a decisive 13-point victory in Iowa and ended up winning in the November 5th election. President Trump previously threatened to sue the Des Moines Register over the poll when he spoke at a press conference on Monday. He said, "In my opinion, it's fraud. It's election interference." Ann Seltzer's polls were heavily publicized by the media prior to the election because of her historically accurate polling predictions in previous elections. The lawsuit holds the newspaper and pollster J. Ann Seltzer's organization liable for its blatant interference with the election. The lawsuit states the Harris poll was no miss, but rather an attempt to influence the outcome of the 2024 presidential election. The lawsuit also said that consumers were badly deceived and misled as to the actual position of the respective candidates in the Iowa presidential race. In a statement, Des Moines Register spokeswoman Lark Marie Anton acknowledged that the poll did not accurately reflect President Trump's eventual margin of victory, and she dismissed the lawsuit as moot. But President Trump has his own ideas. He said on Monday that he will consider suing social media influencers and more defamers. It's expensive, but he wants to fix the media. President Trump also sued ABC News and CBS News. ABC has already settled the case with President Trump, but CBS News argued that the lawsuit was completely without merit and asked the judge to dismiss the case. They claim that long-standing legal precedent holds that the defendant has to commit actual malice, and the public figure must prove that the defendant knew or had a strong suspicion that something was false but said it anyway. ABC News settled for $15 million and a public apology. Now that President Trump will return to the White House, it's time to consider your retirement and portfolio. The Wall Street Journal said gold will outperform stocks in 2025. President Trump threatened BRICS countries with 100% tariffs as they move away from the U.S. dollar. Since 2022, gold has surged 40%. And after the U.S. seized Russia's assets, that was a wake-up call for central banks around the globe to diversify their reserves away from the dollar and into gold. Goldman Sachs has warned the S&P will generate paltry returns over the next decade. At the same time, Goldman Sachs said that President Trump's presidency will light a fire under gold, pushing it to $31.50 an ounce. The threat of stagflation, our national debt, tariffs, and global de-dollarization will ignite gold prices as President Trump takes office. Isn't it time to protect your retirement with gold or place a bullish bet on silver? The time is now to call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group. Call them today before it's too late and tell them the front page with Scott Goulet sent you, and you'll always get the best in class service from Patriots protecting Patriots. The Patriot Gold Group has the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may be eligible for the no fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. So call the toll-free number, call 888-857-0495 and get a free investor guide today, or click the link in the description below to visit the website, and you can also scan the QR code. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer 7 years in a row. Again, call 888-857-0495. That's 888-857-0495. President Biden said in an interview that was published in part on Tuesday that he is in favor of a ban on stock trading by members of Congress. Biden said, "I don't know how you look your constituents in the eye, and no, because the job they gave you, it gave you the inside track to make more money." In an exclusive interview with Faiz Shakir, Bernie Sanders said that he believes that voters don't cast their ballots for legislators in order to give them access to inside channels to make more money through their jobs once they're elected. Congressional stock trading has become a political flashpoint on Capitol Hill and beyond. Currently, the law within the United States stipulates that members of Congress should make disclosures to the relevant units when they trade in stocks amounting to more than $1,000. Reportedly, Biden did not own stock during his decades as a senator. However, some members of the public have questioned the fact that the act is not really implemented. Many members of Congress may not file a notice to the relevant units until sometime after the transaction. Some members of Congress even simply ignore the provisions of the law and choose not to file any notices. A bipartisan group of senators introduced a proposal this year which is called the Ethics Act. The Ethics Act would prohibit lawmakers from buying stock and other related investments and prevent them from selling them 90 days after the bill's enactment. The proposal would also require the president and the vice president to divest from covered investments, and it would exact monetary penalties for violating the proposal. The full Senate has not yet taken the legislation up for a vote. In the interview, Biden called for more action. He said, "I think we should be changing the law that we have. We abide by that at the federal level. Nobody in the Congress should be able to make money in the stock market while they're in the Congress." Police in Aurora, Colorado have announced the detention of 14 dangerous Tren de Aragua gang members who are suspected of a home invasion and stabbing at an apartment complex. The APD posted a message on X on Tuesday morning saying the preliminary investigation suggests several suspects entered an apartment occupied by two people. The suspects moved the victims to another apartment on the property where they were threatened and bound. An adult male sustained a non-life-threatening stab wound during the incident. This is the same apartment complex that President Trump warned of in September when he said that it was being taken over by Tren de Aragua gang members. In August of this year, the apartment complex attracted national attention. A video at the time showed armed gang members knocking on doors and allegedly demanding that residents turn over their rent to the gang, not the landlord. The complex is set to close and evict all residents after the owners found that they could not continue to do business in the area. Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the shooting death of United Healthcare's chief executive officer, was formally indicted by a grand jury on Tuesday on 11 criminal counts, including first-degree murder. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced at a press conference on Tuesday that the grand jury formally indicted Mangione. Alvin Bragg called it a brazen, targeted, and premeditated shooting. Mangione is currently incarcerated in Pennsylvania for unlawful possession of a firearm. New York Governor Kathy Hochul's office confirmed that now that the indictment has been handed down, she will submit the necessary extradition warrants and documents. This will allow Mangione to be transferred to New York to face the full charges. According to Luigi Mangione's mother, he was suspected to be the murderer even before the police arrested him. Last month, Mangione's mother reported her son missing to San Francisco police, saying that she had not spoken to him since July. Investigators in California believed that they recognized Mangione after the New York Police Department released images of the suspect in Thompson's murder. Investigators then called Mangione's mother to ask if the suspect, who police were hunting, could be her son. The phone conversation happened very late on December 7th. NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney said at a news press conference on Tuesday afternoon they had a conversation where she didn't indicate that it was her son in the photograph, but she said it might be something that she could see him doing. Mangione was captured on December 9th in Altoona, Pennsylvania. At a Monday press conference at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump vowed to take on big pharmacy benefit managers, BPMs. President Trump said, "The horrible middleman that makes more money, frankly, than the drug companies, and they don't do anything except they're a middleman. We're going to knock out the middleman." President Trump said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., And Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services nominee Dr. Mehmet Oz have discussed reforming BPMs extensively. President Trump said, "We're going to get drug costs down at levels that nobody has ever seen before. One of the biggest reasons for high prescription drug prices is the large insurance BPMs. The three largest BPM intermediaries, CVS Caremark, Express Scripts, and Optum RX, control about 80% of the entire BPM market. The largest BPM intermediaries are the large insurance BPMs. BPMs inflate their profits by pushing more expensive medicines when designing formularies and the list of drugs available to their customers. If a drug isn't on the formulary, insurers won't cover it. And often doctors won't prescribe it even if the patient needs it." House Speaker Mike Johnson will start knocking out the BPM middlemen as soon as this week. The Speaker expects the spending bill text to be released this week. It could include a critical part of cracking down on pharmacy benefit manager middlemen who drive up drug prices for seniors. Shares of health insurers that run pharmacy benefit management companies fell immediately on Monday. Shares of CVS fell 5.35%, Cigna slipped 2.6%, while United Health was down 3.54% in afternoon trading. The DHS, the FBI, the FAA, and the DOD released a joint statement on Monday. It said that the drones that people have been witnessing lately include legal drones, other aircraft, and stars. The statement reads, "Having closely examined the technical data and tips from concerned citizens, we assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones." White House National Security Advisor John Kirby told reporters on Monday that unmanned aircraft do not pose a national security or public risk. But President Trump said that the Biden administration knows the reality of the drone sightings, and he implied that the drones do not come from a hostile country. On Monday, President Trump said the government knows what is happening. He said, "Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went." The mysterious drone phenomenon has put enormous pressure on federal agencies. Officials are being asked to provide more information about the drones, and officials are urging people to remain calm. President Trump says our military knows and our president knows, and for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. However, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul believes the unidentified drones observed near U.S. military installations may be adversarial and likely of Chinese origin.
Congress is going to pursue this. I know the House Intelligence Committee is having a hearing on this. We need to identify who is behind these drones. My judgment, based on my experience, is that those that are over our military sites are adversarial and most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
And he is not satisfied with the way the government has handled the matter so far.
And that's a concern in and of itself, that if we have drones flying around military bases and we can't identify where they came from or who's responsible for them. I know there are a lot of commercial drones out there, and Secretary Mayorkas has talked about this. That's fine, but the ones flying over our military bases, by definition, I would say are adversarial. We need to know who is behind that because I believe they're spy drones. And the PRC, Chinese, Communist China, is very good at this stuff. And we know they bought land around military bases. This would be very consistent with their policy over the last couple of years.
The Canadian Parliament began its winter break on Tuesday. This may be a much-needed cooling-off time for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Natural Resource Minister Jonathan Wilkinson said that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau needs some time to reflect after the sudden resignation of his top cabinet minister on Monday. Chrystia Freeland's resignation sparked a day of chaos in Parliament. This included an evening meeting of the Liberal caucus. Some members called on Trudeau to resign as party leader. Trudeau said that he has received their concerns and he will be thinking about the way forward in the coming days. Liberal Party legislator Wayne Long, who is one of 23 caucus members who signed a letter back in October calling for Trudeau to quit, said that as many as 40 or 50 of his colleagues thought that it was time for a new leader. Earlier on Tuesday, Yves François Blanchet, a Quebec political group leader, said that Trudeau has lost the political, moral, and ethical authority to govern. He said Trudeau should call an early election in January. Due to the domestic political turmoil, the Canadian dollar fell to its lowest level against the US dollar in nearly 5 years, and it reached its lowest level since March 2020 on Tuesday. The Canadian dollar is trading at 1.43 Canadian dollars per $1 US dollar. The Canadian dollar continues to face downward pressure as the Bank of Canada lowers borrowing costs, leading to expectations of widening spreads with the US. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for your support of Front Page. Please remember that every like, comment, and share helps more people to see the truth. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, we thank you, but please double check to make sure that you're still subscribed, because some of our audience have reported that they're somehow unsubscribed without their knowledge. We've also heard that some of you don't get notifications anymore of our videos on YouTube. So when you do subscribe on YouTube, please make sure to tap the notification bell as well. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw today, please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family, because everybody deserves to know the truth.